So welcome to this class 8 of the TAG course. And of course, the first thing we're going to do is set our space. I hope maybe that you've thought about setting your space even in mind where you are, because we come as a presence. So welcome to all of you who are here. Welcome to those who will be listening. Beta and Susan, I know you're here with us in spirit. And we gather in the sacred ground of sovereignty and ask that the triple cocoon, red rock, guardian circle, hitchhiker shield, as well as hazmat suit be around us. There's Beta coming in. So we're just quietly getting our space set. Gathering in the sacred ground of sovereignty, we have the triple cocoon and hazmat around each one of us, those we love, our homes, our families, and our space wherever we travel. We are here to learn, to practice, to expand our capacities as part of a bigger plan for this Earth mission. To clear that which has been entrapping us in order that we can create fearlessly from our divine agendas of good and step into those experiences. And this is what we are holding for ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and future generations. We are grateful for all of the wisdom that we bring together, for the strengths and clarities that we bring together. We invite our various spiritual guides and teams aligned to this outcome, to this plan, to be with us as we gather in delight, in curiosity, in deep clarity of the outcome. So our circle is set for this class, anchored and opened, and so it is. Just breathe and get a sense of that space, what that means and brings to you. And then what we're going to do is place ourselves in the circle with whatever quality or what you feel called to. It might be like, wow, I feel that this is what I'm here to hold today. But however it shows up for you. So, okay. So Sharon Raji Maynard would be island. Planes are flying a little bit this morning. And I don't even know the word for sure. I'll use surprised at how quickly information is being dropped in. So openness and vitality, that's what I'm going to bring. And Emma.
So Emma in Williamstown, Massachusetts, me and the mosquitoes. And I've been feeling vulnerable and still safe. So it's this very soft feeling that I don't recall experiencing, certainly in a conscious way. And I think part of it is just the level of opening that I experienced after Christina's class on Saturday, and just being in a more deliberate relationship or a deeper level of the relationship. And so I think that's where that feeling of safety comes from. And I will tag Beta.
Hi, Beta Diomande here in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. I am going to bring in the word flow. I apologize for being late. I had painters in the house today. Nobody told me they were coming. So they just finished painting this room as I was trying to put the baby down in a room that's not been painted in. So I'm going with the flow. And I think I'm doing A-OK. So I bring in flow. I will tag Alexandra.
Well, this is Alexandra, and I'm happy to report that since I went off all my medication from the drugstore 3 weeks ago, I have been improving. So once again, I have realized that natural is the way to go. I am slowly but surely moving 40 years of writings from my family farm. So the issues that I want to focus on are clutter, and so I would like to bring order and harmony into the circle. And Christina.
Thank you, Alexandra. Christina Theot in Switzerland, Zurich. And honestly, I don't know what to bring in. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. But I do feel in a really good space. I'm happy that we are in our 6th week of the She Boot Camp, and it's getting to the end because it's been intense. So I totally agree with you, Sharon, that the quickness, the intensity is quite flabbergasting. That's the word that comes. Thank you. And can I ask you, Beta, please, I forgive my geography ignorance, but where are you at?
So I'm in West Africa. It's Côte d'Ivoire. It's between Ghana, Liberia, Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Probably blanking on another country, but yeah, around there somewhere.
Okay. Okay, thank
right
you.
above the equator. You're welcome.
Ooh.
Oh, great. So what we have is we have openness and vitality, vulnerability and safety, flow, order and harmony out of clutter, which is good, and a space of I don't know. Isn't that important? Oh my gosh. How many people, I mean, how many times do we think we have to know, we have to know, we have to know? And so we pretend we know, even if we don't know, or we make it up. Oh my gosh, I don't know. So thank you for that, Christina. I think that's great. So I'm going to start the class with a share screen first, and then I'm going to ask you for feedback. So if you have any feedback or questions, make a note, hold on to it. But I want to share the screen with you first. I first of all have to get back out of here. There it is. Okay. Christina and I were going over some of the little fancy switches. I had to get out of that fancy switch place. So I just want to go over the website. This is our website. And so as you can see, each of the classes are in order. This is just showing you the first class. And every class has the handouts from that class, as well as a link to the next class. right? So it doesn't matter what class you land on, you're going to be able to go through the classes one by one. Or you can go over here to directory of classes. Oops, that one didn't work. Yeah, well, it should have, but it didn't. That for some reason, that one wasn't in the right place. Okay, well, I've got to click that one. I got to fix that one. That one did work for a while. That will take you, and that's just a directory of all the classes, and I'll get that fixed and show you in a minute. So this is the new one. This is the new place, because I thought it might be helpful to put all the handouts all in one place, so you don't have to keep going back over classes and where was that handout and what. So I put that the handouts, as you can see, under the classes. So if you wanted to go back to the class, then you'll know what class to go back to for the video if you need the video. So all the handouts are now on the class page itself, as well as on this general page here. Okay. And then, oh, maybe this will take us to the right place that I want. No, my gosh, that is so bizarre. I get to change that one. So that's what I wanted to show you, that I think.
Sharon, this is a listing of all the classes from most recent to least recent. Just keep scrolling down.
Oh, I'm thinking of the galactic directory. The galactic directory is where where it's condensed. Yeah. This is, I didn't do it that way on this one. So that's right. So that has all of the classes. Thank you, Emma. I got my websites mixed up. So that has all of the classes under the directory. So you just go to all the classes. I think I'm going to change that instead. Say all the classes. I'm not going to put directory. That confused me. So always there will be, this is, and of course the crystalline sprays that Susan has, and always the details. That's where you will always find also the Zoom link in case you don't know where it is in your email. So I wanted to kind of take you into the website in case you haven't been yet. That's how it's structured. Okay. So let's take the next maybe 15 minutes or so, or however long it takes really, for any questions or feedback for what we've been up to up until now, which is anything about the understanding of a basic session, which we've touched only a little bit. Anything about the evolutionary, which we've worked with a little bit more, or any other questions. So I'm just going to open up the floor for that. So popcorn style.
Sharon, one of the things that I've done recently is, instead of the triple cocoon, I've been calling it the fourfold protection. And so like the first time I do it in the day, I just name them all, starting from like the closest with the hazmat suit, then the guardian circle and the red rock vortex, and then the hitchhiker shield. And so I've just kind of put them all into one. And then throughout the day, I can just quickly say to myself, activate the fourfold protection and activate Deep Six protocols. You're muted.
Did you see me thumbs up anyway? No, that's a good idea. As you know, Emma, more than most, I get an idea and I put it into a word, it's like I have to form it somehow. And it's maybe not the best, but in the moment it works. And so I like that one a lot. So thank you for that. That's where the wisdom and experience comes into play. Any other questions or feedback, ideas?
I'm enjoying it. I like doing the blueprint downloads. I like thinking about them. I was thinking about them yesterday, I can't remember exactly, but like if you take an acorn, there's no way you're going to ever know that an oak tree is going to come out of it. But there's a blueprint in there for how that being will grow. And so that makes, for me, that helps me to understand the whole concept of a blueprint. Is that, you know, I know like in Science of Mind, and there's, you know, like there's a pattern, there's a map at, you know, they say at the center.
Mhm.
And so what we're saying is that the pattern and the map of what we were intended to grow into, you know, like instead of an oak tree, somehow it became thorns, right? And so now we're just we're downloading information, the necessary information to bring us back to our original intention. So that was one way that I was like helping myself understand it.
That's a very good way. It also recognizing that on some very deep level, we knew we were oak trees. On some very deep level, we knew we were oak trees. But what had been hidden from us is that the blueprint of the oak tree, the little acorn seed, had been manipulated with to cause us to be thorny hot bushes, like you say. And so here we are struggling to be an oak tree within a blueprint that was thorny bush, wondering why we were constantly thorny bushes, and having to work really hard even to maintain our hope, our trust in our belief that we were an oak tree. And so what we're doing now, this blueprint, what we did with the tag when we began understanding the DNA was crippled, the chakras were crippled, we understood these things, and we would kind of upgrade or shift and change. We didn't have enough authority power because there was so much entrapment still in the galactic world. There was so much that held that crippled blueprint in place. The best we could do is just kind of adjust. And so like 3 months ago, and all of a sudden I'm ready to teach you guys in a tag class about the DNA and the crippledness, and thinking we're going to adjust. And they said, no, totally evolved new blueprint. This is a blueprint that's never been before. This is not even the restoration of the original. This is a blueprint that takes into account all the corrections from the first world through the galactic worlds, through the crippling of early life on the planet. And it brings our intention, it brings our laws, it brings our divine agendas all into what that blueprint is about, and how to most effectively get from the crippled, the garbage, the toxic to this clarity by having a different way that energy is used. Energy is used for good, and whatever waste, that entropy, goes into a secured system, not to be stored in the body, not to be stored in the atmosphere, not to be vibrated out to everybody else, but in a secured system. So if there's any parasitic involvement, back to source, their source, anything that of light that came together for that seed, back to light. So this is an entirely new, never before had or possible blueprint. So yeah, that's a very good model, Emma. Thank you for that.
Emma, I wrapped it up into for me it's the protection detail.
Yeah.
The protection detail, and it encompasses all the layers with, you know, the PTO, the deep six.
The protection detail. Yeah.
The protection detail, yes.
It's like, okay, I'm sorry, Christina, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I do have a question, but maybe it's more general, and tell me if this is not the right place. But you, Sharon, you have different groups or circles or communities that you work in. I get that right. So and so when you speak of we, do you speak of those circles or do you refer to your team?
You know, I've used we for a long, I mean, it just kind of pops out of my mouth as we. And when I look at that, because I kind of looked at that, and to how I'm just designating we, in my mind anyway, is we is the I that is us, that is all of us, whether we're awake or whether we're not awake, in whatever way we're doing to get our sovereignty back and restore our harmonics. That's the bigger we. Okay. In my work, when I started being able to be out there with it again, like 3.5 years ago, after Michelle's heart transplant, I decided to put it in a platform I called a Sacred Ground Collective. And that's a community of those who in any way understand, work with the galactic to Gaia information. So that's the we maybe on the planet. So the we, that would be the different classes that I present. We have a Monday circle that we have. It used to be, we used to have 3 every week, which is now once a week. So the we then on the planet is that kind of community. And the we that I speak of, that is the unseen group, part of the group, because I think they are part of it, is extensive teams. And I could name the various ones I'm aware of, but so it's like, here we are.
Okay.
I think when I say we, in my context of on the planet, it involves those who understand or work with to some degree or other the galactic information of history, Earth mission, the laws, and what's our purpose here. You know, there are others who are doing it from a different place, different perspective, and I'm not, and they're part of that bigger we. You know, but I'm working with a group of we's who understand the galactic. Does that help at all?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anything other? I see your
this is
Alex.
Okay. Forgive me because my background, as you know, I just found a copy of the school paper I edited in 1967. That's how far back I go in journalism. So I am a news hound. I need some reassurance about the world, because when I do cut on the TV and when I do look at Facebook, things seem so much worse now in terms of the Taliban, the situation in Texas with abortion and all this stuff. Why does it seem so much worse now?
Because you're seeing the law. Oh, am I muted? Because you're seeing the law of manifestation in action, and you're seeing the purpose of Earth mission in action. That's why. That's a short answer. Now let me go. I'm trying to pull something up here if I can. The law of manifestation was put in place for this particular Earth. We are here on a planet in which energy vibrations will become solid or visible or seen or discerned. We can't talk about the seventh world, the sixth world, and eighth world and talk about trees. We could talk about songs, we could talk about colors, we could talk about movement, we could talk about dance, but they don't have trees. Their energy, the energy in the other worlds are not manifesting form, they're energies. The reason we needed to make energy visible or tactile or discernible is because the outsiders are extremely good deceivers. And they can put on the face of a charismatic leader, even on our planet for sure, and say words that are sweet and honey, and the intention behind them we don't see. Or they can slip away, or they can shapeshift in those other worlds. And that's what had gotten us in trouble. We'd lost not only our authority, but our discernment was all fuzzy and fuggy. So we needed a place where those vibrations would be absolutely sharp. And so we needed to see what was in our energy field that was destroying us. We knew we were being destroyed. We kind of knew what they were, but they were so sneaky. And law of manifestation says we're going to slow them down and they're going to be in your face. That's the purpose of the law of manifestation. Now, we could discern them. If you look at the body, mind, emotion, spirit paradigm, we could discern them at just a sense. In that etheric field, it's like very subtle frequency. That's why when I say, do you feel something that's off? That's spirit, that's a spiritual body. Something's off. I don't know what it is. Something's off. I don't know what it is. And we've been taught by the outsiders to discount that. Good gosh, you are so creepy. No, nuh-uh. And so we've discounted that language. But we could have also seen or felt them at an emotional vibration, which is a little bit stronger. But we've been discounted and said, oh, you females are so emotional. You're just emotional creatures. We're going to eliminate your worry and voice. Or we could have, and if we don't get it at the off, if we don't get it at the emotional, it will become mental, and then it will start hammering in our brain and our mind. It will start showing up a little more solidly. And what have we been told? You're mentally ill. I talked to a woman yesterday who is, Christina, it was you. Oh my gosh, I thought about that this morning. Christina's class yesterday or Saturday was great. You were talking about your friend who's a medium, also in works in the mental health industry, right? And she was saying what we need in that industry is mediums in there teaching these people how to deal with their voices. Instead, we call them mentally ill. So we've discounted that level of information that says danger is here. So what's the next level it becomes is physical. And so it hits us a little bit, and we blame our boss, and we blame our sisters, and we blame somebody of a different skin color, because we've not understood that when you see it as a destructive, you name it, you call in spiritual beings, and you get it out of your space. That was the purpose, and it remains the purpose of Earth's mission. What you're seeing, Alexandra, is the fact that we haven't gotten it yet. We had our authority ripped away. We had all of our languages discounted, Pollyanna, woo-woo, ridiculous. And so what happens by the law of manifestation, it moves from subtle to a little bit stronger, to a little bit stronger, until we get it slapped up the side of our heads. So what do? If you turn off the news, is that what you do? Then hide your head in the sand. You're not doing Earth mission. Do you need to live in it? No. But you could spend 10 minutes every 2 days and go like, what's out there in the news? Name it, guardian circle, call in the PTOs, get it out of my space, turn off the news. Now, will it happen overnight? No, but I can tell you, we've only been doing this for 21 years. And we have made huge progress, huge progress. The galactic worlds are clear. The 5 worlds of the outsiders are almost totally gone. What is left is what is in our space, and it takes our voice to say, I see you, PTO, out, in whatever way we do. What you're seeing is we're not finished yet. That's all. And it doesn't, and they aren't winning. They're not winning, nor will they win. Their roots are
Karen?
gone. Their homes are gone. Yes, Emma.
Because it's physical and the vibrations are slower,
Mm-hmm.
is that why the change is slower than we might see in the non-physical, faster vibrating worlds?
Well, if you look at a physical illness, right? Let's say that you started getting a sense of me. I don't know, maybe I better pay attention to that, and you don't. And then you go like, oh, that headache. Oh, no, I'm not sleeping well. You keep ignoring the signs. What happens is the energy in the physical starts to cause damage. And then the damage becomes more solid, if you will. So yes, the turning around. And then also take into consideration this. What would happen? Let's say we have a building, a really strong, tall building. Well, World Trade Center would be one example. We have this really tall building, and it's holding things of good, but it's totally based on outsiders' control, keeping people trapped on the wheel of buy, sell, earn more, you're never enough, whatever. But this total construction that we call a building is based on agendas of domination and greed and usury. And it's right in the middle of our city. And the consideration is not only that building needs to come down, but how can it come down in such a way that it won't destroy all the buildings around it? And so that's why being part of a team that has a greater insight than we have, that we can call in the planes. It's our job to call in the planes, but then the job of those with a bigger view say, okay, how can we do it? Maybe we can only do it piece by piece because we got to move the people away. What day is the best? Because there'll be less impact. So there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but when it's physical, there's much more consideration, and it does take time, I find. It's at level 1 where it's just energy. Boy, change can go like that. Even level 2, where it's been there a little bit longer, can turn around quickly. Okay.
So
yeah, Christina.
yeah, I had it all set in my head. Now it's gone. So that if I say, like, if I read the news or read something on the social media, and I just say I don't agree. I don't agree. That's not enough, right?
That's right.
This is a huge penny for me, dropping a huge, because up to now I kept saying I don't agree, and thinking that with that statement that I, but now I have to call in the protection details.
Yeah. The law is ask and you receive what you ask. So if you say, I don't agree, they say, okay, but what does that do? Or if you say, I see it, what does that do? Oh, you see it, good. But they can't, the beings of integrity have to abide and will abide by the law of personal choice. And that's why the more understanding you have, the more power you have in anything, not just in this work, but in any work. The more understanding, the more information you gather around where you want to take action, the more power you have. And and that's why it's not enough. It's enough to begin. It's really important to begin. And the way I see your protection detail is they're the ones who have already the package of what we all say, but Emma says, the fourfold protection. You're saying to them, basically, activate the fourfold protection. She's calling it in from the protection standpoint, which activates the team. You're calling it in from the team perspective, which activates the directives. Same.
Well, I mean, Deep Six, that is the Deep Six command. I call it a command that I said it many times. That was one of the most important things that you could teach.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, really. For right now, that is really what's important. Yeah. Thank you for Christina.
One of the things that I do on social media is I might put in a little comment and then I do a hashtag, not acceptable.
Yeah, not acceptable is another what we have used initially, which is pretty, yeah.
So what that does is I've made my human comment, and then the not acceptable points the teams towards that particular issue.
Right.
And that way and then I just do that until I'm too pissed off to be polite, and then I get off.
Yeah. Yeah. Not acceptable is definitely one of those words that we don't use it as much as we did at first, but it's included. It's like Deep Six, or it's like the fourfold. It's not acceptable, and I've used that also on social media, and it does the work. It does the work without you being targeted, out there.
Right. And Alexandra, doing that makes me feel less powerless and less overwhelmed, because I'm taking action that I know that will be effective, and then I don't have to get caught up in the drama and the personalities, because that is just too easy for me to do.
It's not our job to do that. We don't have the capacity to decide what energies does a person have? Is it 10% influence? Is he 5% influence? Is he 100% influenced? We don't have the capacity to know that. We don't, nor are we intended to. But there are those in the PTO team that have that pristine ability to identify the vibrations from wherever it comes from, any level, bring it in and clear. So if you spin in the frustration, if you spin in the anger, you're only contributing to it. They are hooking you, they are hooking your energy and using your energy in your anger and frustration. So I made some kind of comment about Texas abortion, and they said, right, babies, it's not, I said, it's not about babies. It's really not. It's about controlling women and something like that into this new group. And one of the fellows personal messaged me, and he said, abortion is murder. Change my mind. I mean, it was a challenge. And I said, it's not my job to change your mind. Your mind, your thinking is in your ballpark. I said that, I'm not, you getting into that kind of debate sucks you into the spin. So I said, that's yours. I said, I think we're seeing a similar problem, and we're just coming to different solutions, but it's your mind is in your ballpark. My mind is in my ballpark. And we're just seeing that there's a problem. And he came back with a thumbs up. That was the end of it, you see.
So I want to bring in the fact that my entire family is, what? I don't even want to use that word. And I'm getting pressure. I mean, my husband doesn't pressure me to do it, but I get the nuggets, and now since today in Switzerland, if I want to go in a restaurant and eat inside, I need some pass or a test and this is really, it's find it interesting and this challenging, and I got sucked up this morning because I heard the Canadian president, in a short interview saying what he said, and I got really so that's actually I was feeding into the whole thing.
Yeah. The way I see it is this. Is there truth in well, let's just talk about COVID. Is there truth in the possibility that COVID is a weaponized virus? Oh, it's been going on for generations. Of course, it's possible and maybe even probable, really. Do I have to decide about that or not? No, but what I am doing is, and have done that, since 2000, is totally, in case the virus itself, and give it permission to restore itself to what it really is. And in that process, whatever outsiders might or might not be there, PTO take care of it. There is a problem that hasn't been created by outsiders, probably because that's what they're good at. What we're seeing with the various leaders is the fact that they're trying to find a solution. They didn't create that, the outsiders did. And they created it eons ago, and they created it 20 years ago, and they recreated it 5 years ago. And this is an ongoing thing. Why? Because we haven't known enough to go back and say, where did it start? Where were they inserted? No, they can't even be in our space. No, that idea can't even be there. We haven't gone back far enough to get to the cause and the eruptions from the cause. So now we have it in our world, and we have people in human bodysuits, some of them influenced, all of us have been. Of course, they're influenced by craziness and sanity. And we're pointing fingers at those who are trying to say, here's a solution. Here's the solution. Do this solution. Do this solution. They're only trying to figure out how to manage the symptoms. None of it's going to work. But they're not the problem. The problem is you see it, you hear what they say, you encapsulate that whole speech back in time to the cause, get rid of the cause, clear that whole cause. That's the difference in what we're doing. We have a lot of good people who have huge differences in how they see solution. But that doesn't mean that they are the bad people. They're not. They're trapped in this outsider construct. They don't know it, but we do. We still have work to do. And that's what we came to do. So if you see it and you get angry, okay, as soon as you recognize I'm angry, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to get angry. I'm going to say, yes, that is possibly a manifestation of domination. I don't even have to know that it's true. It looks like it to me. So I want it totally eradicated. And that's the difference. And
domination and separation.
Separation, blame, voyeurism, take advantage of, violence. They're all from the same. They're all from the same. Anything that isn't for the benefit of all is from just outsiders' agendas. Now I'm going to do this one thing, and then we're going to take a break. So I'm going to share screen. There was a book that came into my purview. I don't remember, maybe about 3 years ago. This book had been written in the 1930s, and some of you know of it. And it was written by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, some of the other books, Emma probably could name some of them more, but he was very much about, taking charge of your life, making a difference, how to be successful. Think and Grow Rich was the big one. So here's this book. He had this interaction with the unseen because he was, from what I can gather, he was a bit telepathic or clairvoyant. But he didn't say much about that in his other books. So this book he did. So he showed the manuscript to his wife, 1930s. And she said, you will not publish this book in my lifetime. And so he didn't. So she died, he died, and the manuscript is now in the hands of his foundation. And his cousin was the guiding factor in the foundation, and they came upon this manuscript, and he showed it to his wife, and she said, you will not publish this in my lifetime either. So they didn't. In 2012, the foundation, new leadership, finds the manuscript and said, this has to go out to the public. And I'm going to show you. So this is the book, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, in this book, it's like a journal of his conversations of what I would call the outsider. He calls it the devil because it's the best he could do, because the agenda of this being was very clear, was entrap and take over power, use other people's power. He was very clear about that. And Napoleon asked him all kinds of questions and how he did it and it was like, I mean, it was a very interesting read, because I'm going like, of course, that's what, absolutely, that's them. But it's not a devil, it's the outsiders who take away life. Look at that, LIVE, take away living, take away the living. And so this book catalogs, this discussion. And so Napoleon Hill, this is the 30s, and he's in a male bodysuit, recognizing it's owned. He didn't know that. There's much we know that he didn't know. So the best thing he could do is to say to people, how are you going to outwit the devil? Is take charge of where your mind settles. You see, so here it is, why it's important, how he recognizes the voice, distinguishing the devil, but knowing the devil is in your life. The devil describes himself, how to outwit the devil, love, sex, and addictions, and what has happened since 1938. There are many in our world who are like Napoleon Hill, in that they are saying, there's parasitics, there's reptilians, there's they're entrapping you, run, hide. I don't even know if they take the action that Napoleon Hill says, that says, take care of your mind, take care of your mind. I don't, what do we do if we know? Knowing's the booby prize. It's more than the booby prize. It keeps you trapped, because then you get locked in the fear and the divisiveness, and like you say, the separation. Are there outsiders, devils, those who take away life? Are there those on the planet? Yeah, they've been with us before the planet. Why are they so big in our world? Because we haven't taken the actions we needed to take. We're doing it now. It doesn't require a whole bunch of your time. When you see it, name it, turn it over, and build your life from good. Then start, using your tools. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, which means we'll be back at, right on the hour. Okay. So see you back at the hour. Okay. Bye, loves.